Kathleen Hawk Sawyer testified before the Senate today about Epstein's death. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana was there and expressed some skepticism about the official story. Watch.
Christmas ornaments, drywall, and Jerry Epstein. Name three things that don't hang themselves. That's what the American people think. That's what the American people think. And they deserve some answers.
Senator Kennedy of Louisiana joins us tonight. Senator, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful line. Do you think that?
I don't know. Maybe it's all an odd coincidence. But the point I was trying to make with Dr. Sawyer, our new head of the Bureau of Prisons, is that the American people have very little trust of government.
Yes.
And they may not believe the investigations once they're completed. But they certainly are entitled to wonder when it's taking a while to do the investigations. And I realize the death happened in August, but the American people are entitled to the facts, and the FBI and the Inspector General, both of which are doing the investigations, need to move this thing on.
Why do you think they're not? I mean, I agree with you. It seems you're making a very
I'm assuming they're being careful, and they should be thorough, and they should be careful. But this is a high priority. And the alleged victims, I don't know who did what to whom, Tucker, but the alleged victims are entitled to know what happened. The American people are entitled to know what happened. And I can tell you, if 9 out of 10 Americans, if you ask them secretly, gave them truth serum, do they think that he was murdered? You know, maybe not 9 out of 10, but many would say yes, and the other ones could be lying. I mean, it's just an odd coincidence.
What does this say? But I mean, if that, and I agree with you completely, if a huge percentage of the American population believes there's a massive cover-up right to the top, that says a lot about how people feel about their leaders.
Well, it's symptomatic of the mistrust that people not only have in entrenched politicians, but in the entire managerial elite up here.
Exactly.
The bureaucrats, the academics, the journalists, the corporate phonies. I don't want to paint with too broad of a brush, but all of them are not, all academics are not manager in the managerial elite, but many of them are, and the American people, a large portion of the American people, elected President Trump for two reasons. First, Trump doesn't talk down to people. He didn't talk down to them. And secondly, many Americans voted for him as an insult to the managerial elite.
That's right.
And by the managerial elite, I mean everybody in this town who thinks they're smarter and more virtuous than the average American.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of them.
Yeah. And I would say the fruits of their leadership prove that they're not.
Yes.
Yeah. Senator, it is great to see you tonight,
Thanks,
as it always is. Thanks
Same
very
here.
much for coming on.
You bet.
We are out of time.